It is a crisis. I consider it to be a crisis.
It would be sad, very sad for the island.
And you try to think where you're going to be in 20 years' time. Are you actually going to have a house over your head, or are you going to be in the same situation?
One of the biggest resources that is lacking in communities is access to land. That's the kind of principal thing. That would seem bizarre, but it's true.
Oh, my family's been here for hundreds of years, and doesn't seem like we'll be here for much longer. Unless I can find a house.
The problem is that there's huge pressure on the island because it's so beautiful and so convenient. When houses come up for sale, they go to people who want to retire, people who want them as holiday homes, and these are people who are well off, so they'll pay a lot of money for a house. Houses can go for 300,000 and more. To buy a plot of building land in the villages will cost you, you'd be very lucky to get a plot for 70,000, that's unlikely, it's more likely to be 100,000. And ordinary working people just can't afford to pay that kind of money. The vast majority of the ground here is uninhabited and becoming gradually more deserted. It is really absurd that we are in this crisis situation where we know that there's perhaps 500 people on the island who don't have anywhere permanent to live, and yet are the workforce of the island and are the local people of the island.
Hi, I'm Gary from Brodick, Isle of Arran. I moved away about 15 years ago, and now I've got a wife and 4 kids. Wouldn't mind moving back, but finding it pretty hard. There doesn't seem to be any houses that anyone short of a millionaire can really afford.
It's an entirely different situation. It was hard when I was young. It wasn't easy, but now it's impossible. That's the difference. It was possible when I was young, and I'm really grateful for all the opportunities the island gave me. But I know full well that it's not possible any longer, and that's the difference. That's what we've got to change. We've got to make it possible for the young people.
It is a problem, and I see it as quite an extensive problem in the fact that if you look at Arran, most of the services in Arran are voluntary. You've got lifeboats, you've got mountain rescue, you've got first responders, all those sorts of things, fire service. They need younger people. If we don't have the younger people, these services will collapse. And what happens to the island? Big problem.
I've lived here all my life, moved to Australia actually when I was 17 after I left school. A lot of people my age were moving away because there was nothing much here for them, probably because they couldn't get housing. So I went out, but obviously it wasn't my home and I missed home, so I came back and I've been living with my mum and dad ever since, and I'm now 26. And I've recently moved out, but trying to find a place for a reasonable amount of money is just unbelievable. At the moment I'm paying £450 a month, and that's just without council tax. Then you've got my electricity on top of that, so I'm paying out about £700 a month, and I could get a mortgage for that, but because I'm single and I've also got a boy who's 7, there's no way I would even get a looking for a mortgage here. The houses are so expensive. You're talking £250,000 for a 2-bedroom house.
You've got to. I know Arran has an ageing population. I'm one of them, and I don't mind admitting it. But we've got to help the young folk. You can't just sit back and say, "Well, that's your problem. Get on with it, pal." That problem is created by people of my generation. and we've got to now try and help to solve it. Anything that we come up with, Henry's done a fantastic job with High Far. The imagination to start such a thing.